Hello there, humans and hybrids. How's it going? Welcome to After Hours Ramblings. Late at night here on the East Coast, early morning to be more precise. This could be called Pop On to Pop Off. Won't be here for long. Just wanted to say howdy. Maybe we'll find someone. Maybe we won't. So far, we haven't live, but hello, replay crowd. I can always count on the replay crowd to join us. We have done a new video. Did Elvis preach Lisa Marie's private funeral? There's new information in that video. For the first time, we show a funeral service card that others have had and sent to me. I don't know what other people are doing on their channels or their Facebook groups. I really don't know about that because I'm not in any, but sometimes you tell me. But I thought since obviously it's in circulation, it was the time. I could have done this back in March and maybe had a viral video. I could have, but I just didn't feel right about it. But when it gets to the time where everyone is, you know, um, getting a hold of it, or at least a few people, then it's obviously out there, like me, way out there. And some of the people that watch here so far, we're not finding anybody just yet. I call this a little talk here. Human flies are infesting Maine and Colorado too, and all kinds of other places. But when it happens in Maine, I get really, really discouraged. Maine is such a special state that has, been brought to where it is today by tough people, tough lobster fishermen, tough families. When you go to Maine, and we go almost every year, we plan to go, Lord willing, God willing, God's grace provide. We plan to go to Maine in the summer of 2024. And you see these people, they have this weather beaten, some of them have this weather beaten look on their faces. They know what hard work is, they know what American values are. But yet, as is happening in other places, we have the Z generation, the Y generation, and they don't share those values. They don't share the love for America. Now, there's plenty of uh, Z's and Y's and X's that were brought up in good homes and they were taught those values and they stand for something. And it's not standing for the destruction of America, standing for everything that is unholy and wrong, you know? So, human flies are infesting Maine. As I do this on an early Friday morning, just yesterday, uh, Sheena Bellows, a young Z generation with a broad smile on her face as she meets President Biden. I don't think she cares anything about him, but they know they can use this old man to enact some of the things they want to see. And of course, they don't realize that the America they are creating is something they won't even want to live in. They're probably not planning on having children. They're too selfish for that, right? Now, some people decide not to have children because they have a course in life they want to take, and I respect that. But if they do become parents, they'll be awful parents because apparently their parents weren't very good. And so it's just going to get worse and worse. As President Reagan said, we're always just one generation away from losing our democracy. He said that a number of years ago, and here we are. We are losing our democracy. And good people are saying nothing. And we have a video up on it, episode 1 of Countdown to the End of Democracy. And, only a certain amount of people care about that. I realize there's a lot of voices out there speaking on it. I'm not Victor Davis Hanson. I'm not Leo Terrell. I'm not Sean Hannity, but it's a real important thing when your country is going to hell. Will this be the first pop on after hours where I get nobody live, but only the replay crowd? I'm so glad you're there, crowd. Please comment and let me know what you think. Let me know where you are watching this video from, if you don't mind. Love that very much. So Sheena Bellows decided to take Trump's name off the ballot in the state of Maine. She decided, this young, smiling punk, in my opinion, decided to make a choice for all the voters of Maine. You know, she's this young, um, privileged lady, I believe, and she wants to make a decision for all the Republicans in the state of Maine. And it's a purple state. They haven't quite turned it yet to blue, but she wants to, they are afraid they can't beat Trump, so they want to make it so they will take away your rights. They don't understand about rights that were fought by men and women soldiers so much better, I believe, than she will ever be. That's my personal opinion. uh, they have fought and died for these rights. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about equal justice. They want to get what they want any way they have to get it, many of them. And so, no. And then it was backed up just a little while ago by the Secretary of State in Maine. So now we have Maine and Colorado. And as I say, Colorado, I've never been there. I don't really care about it too much. Now, if you're watching me, you're one of the smart ones. So hello. And I know my daughter has ties, her husband does, in Colorado, and they have gone there a number of times. All of a sudden, we have two people watching. Please identify yourself and let me know where you're watching from. I thought this was going to be the first pop on. I'm calling it After Hours Ramblings, where I got nobody. Nobody. You just never know. I can imagine who this could be. I'm going to put on uh, I'm going to, do a little ESPN right in front of your very eyes. I think it could be Shell from Canada. Canada, Canada. That would work. You could do a parody. You could. You could take Panama by Van Halen and turn it into Canada and do a parody song. You get some funny stuff in there about your prime minister, who's just a tad wacky and a tad much of a dictator. Now we have three watching. Where are you from? If you're new people, don't be shy. Make up a name if you want. I don't care. Just let me know where you're watching, because I always love to know that. So, yeah, now we have Maine and Colorado um, deciding that they're going to decide for the people in their state, and it's going to take the Supreme Court, and they got to do a broad decision here, because we all know there's going to be other states that are going to do this, other blue states. They got to make a broad decision uh, to let the Sheena Bellows of this road from the state of Maine and the Colorado Supreme Court justices know you can't get away with this. It's not going to stand. Overturn it. Overturn it. And there's a lot of talk, even from Democrats, that they will do that. Some people think it would be unanimous. I'm too cynical for that. For people watching, nobody identifying themselves, please let me know who you are and where you're from. Flies have infested Maine. Don't you know that? Flies have infested Maine and Colorado, but Maine is just the most precious state in the world to me. I wouldn't want to be there in January, really. We go in the summer, like all the summer people that invade your state, Maine. I've never even heard from someone in Maine. That's one of the few states I heard from a watcher who used to live in Maine, but no one has ever said, I am in Maine right now. So feel free to let me know, even if you're in the replay crowd, that you're watching. Um, I don't know. I feel closer to God when I'm in Maine. The sky feels, I look up at the sky like when I was doing, Karen and I were doing the cruise out of Portland. First we went to that lobster shack there, whatever it's called. and we had our lobster sandwich and whatever. And then we took the cruise out, and the sky feels closer. It just is a magical place. Kennybunk is a magical place. We took a speedboat there one time. Almost, I thought Karen's back was gonna, go into major spasms. And then we go down to Sanford, Maine. There's Shanes of Maine, uh, further than Sanford, I guess, or trying to remember now. Yeah, that area, Shanes of Maine, where you get your lobster roll there and ice cream and whatever. And a little further down is Madden's, as Karen calls it, Madden's. If you're ever in Maine, it's only in Maine. Martin's discount store. They have them in many different places, including Woodstock, Maine, and Lewiston, Maine, where they had the shooting and what have you. So yeah, it's really a very special place. But now, here we go. Here come the kids, and they are out to destroy it. They are out to bring havoc. I have said many times in terms of President Trump, he can be his own worst enemy. Um, that some of his decisions, including to have a rally on January 6th, were not the best. But he said, march peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol. He didn't say break the glass and invade the building. But nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. They're still saying a police officer was killed by those who breached the Capitol on MSNBC. They don't give a damn that they are just lying. That they are lying. Oh, he was killed with a fire extinguisher. No, no, no. He died later, and it was from a heart attack, you know? And nor did Ashley Babbitt deserve to be shot in the head. She shouldn't have breached the Capitol. None of them should, but she should have been handcuffed and taken away. Much like the protesters in New York City, the Palestinian protesters and those who support the cause that are increasingly violent, increasingly destroying any whatever is special in New York that they think they can ruin. Next it will be New Year's Eve in Times Square. Oh, the cops will be out in force. But Governor Hochul, it's time for the National Guard to actively be there. The police can't do it all. They can't work 100 hours of overtime. It's time for the National Guard, certainly in Times Square and New Year's Eve, but everywhere else, they need to be arrested. And then DA Bragg, you need to keep them there and charge them. They need to do some time for this. They need to pay heavy fines for this. They can't think that they can just destroy people's rights. I have been the first to say in Gaza, they have to be more careful. They have to be careful when they are bombing because they're killing uh, kids and women, families that don't know where to go. I understand that, and I'm 100% pro-Israel, 100% pro-Israel. But of course, the thing that we try to do here in America is to not bomb wildly, indiscriminately. You have to. But the problem is, of course, they use the people as human shields. They put all their weapons in schools and hospitals. Hamas is diabolical, so it's not so easy. I get that too. Can we stop giving? I think we're out of money now for the Ukraine. Well over $200 billion totally wasted when it could have been used here in America. You could never win a war with Vladimir Putin. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. So, under this administration for the last 3 years, it's been one big horror show. What do you think, Christopher Watson? Hello. Jay Masters, Big J checking in from the road. Father is here. Father, did you see my little blinded by the light video where all that could have been you up on the stage in an immaculate white suit, Jay Masters? You know, I think you. Yeah, I'm picturing you now, Jay, and I'm thinking of the actor who I don't show in the video in the short segment, Blinded by the Light, the movie that I was an extra in 1979. It could have been you in that white suit, and we're all going, Father, father. I was 145 pounds and 30 years old with long, thick hair. And oh, those were the days, my friend. I thought they'd never end. What about you, Jay Masters? You tell me now, tell me what it's like to be on certain medications and what that can do to you. Do you know what I'm trying to say, Jay? Yes, I saw. That was hilarious. I know. Someone used to say when I was a captain in the security company, the cleaning crew would come in, and at that time, HBO had bought the rights to Blinded by the Light, and they were showing it all the time. And this one cleaner named Denny would come in and say, "I saw you again last night when I got home from work. I saw you again." It cracks me up every time. And that was in the '80s when I was at Pollock's Frutal Works as the post commander over there, and working for a guy named Merritt Winter, who would become the chief of the fire department. And the man is still kicking. I see him at the diner. He's like, he can't be far from 90 years old. So he must have done something right. I'm thinking, what in the Constitution do these people in Maine think that they're doing? It's generation Y and Z, and they just think they don't love the Constitution. They want what? That was written by old racist white men, Christopher. We don't want that anymore. We don't want that anymore. Come on now. Next, they'll be just saying, now, if a 9-year-old wants to have sex, we should make that legal. If they consent to it. I mean, it's going that way. Look what they're doing in these places. Even in Dallas, Texas, when it invades Dallas, Texas, and certainly Austin, Purple Austin, we're in the last days. 7 watching right now. And for a moment, I thought nobody would check in here. It's just a few now that have checked in. I'm 340 pounds, big and purple. Let's go blue. Now, Jay, you can't be. Are you saying to me that you're not a progressive, are you, Jay? Hey, everybody's welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Why would I assume that you're a Republican, right? I shouldn't assume. You know what Tony Randall taught us in The Odd Couple: when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And boy, that stuck, didn't it? So, yeah, well, I don't know. Explain how and why you feel that way. I guess, Jay. Um, Now, I was a liberal Democrat who wore my George McGovern button proudly in 1972. Um, the old saying is, if you don't become a Democrat by the time you're 21, you don't have a heart, and if you don't become a Republican by the time you're 40, you don't have a head. Something like that. But these kids that are out there destroying America, the uh, the rights of women in locker rooms, destroying women's and teen sports, unfair competition, no privacy in the locker room, all this crazy stuff that is happening, and these politicians that aren't worth 2 cents. I mean, we're not talking about great quality Democrats. With all his flaws, Ted Kennedy was a great Democrat. He cared about people having health insurance. So anytime someone comments in the comments and thinks I'm going to agree with them, oh well, Obamacare was all bad and expanded Medicaid and everything. No, if we can spend $200 billion totally wasted in the Ukraine, we can sure as hell not turn someone away at the doctor's office or the hospital because they don't have a health insurance. And many jobs didn't used to provide health insurance. When you're sick, you should be able to go and get the same quality medical care, and you should be treated well in prison. I'm for prison reform. One of the things Kathy Hochul has done now, and she's doing one thing after another, spending a ton of money, is that she is making it so that it's not so easy to put someone in solitary confinement. I agree with that. They're human beings. And it's not always someone who raped your daughter, it's someone who cheated on their taxes or, you know, some other nonviolent crime, that kind of thing, and they don't deserve solitary confinement. Now, if they're, violent and BS crazy, then what are you going to do? You have to keep them away from the population, and the staff have to be protected too. So I get it then. Hi, Cheryl Everhart. Hi, Jack and family. You find me, huh? You just found me here in the middle of the night. Um, so we put up a new video that's doing very well. I'm only going to be here for a little bit, but I did want to come on and voice, Maine is so special to me. And, you know, I don't know what to think of the governor. I know she became kind of a real dictator during the pandemic, but it was a new thing, and a lot of people didn't know how to react to it. I remember there was this legendary restaurant owner who wanted to stay open, and she sent the National Guard in there to shut him down, took away his liquor license. These are the people you elect to persecute you, and there were so many things we would later find out we were wrong, and it overreacted to. Fauci wasn't the great man we thought he was at first. Hello, Stefan. Hi, Jack, and everyone. I got a little nervous because for the first time when I came on, nobody found me. And now we have 9 watching, and hello, replay crowd. So watch our new video. Um, who preached did Elvis preach Lisa Marie's private funeral? Now, you may think, well, you have a very similar title video using Bob Joyce. So are you just trying to capitalize? No, there's new information in this, including for the first time, I show the funeral service card, the possible funeral service card from Lisa's private funeral. Maybe real, maybe fake. You decide. And we did a little, there, he is referred to, Pastor Bob Joyce is referred to as being from Rolling Hills, and I didn't know what that meant. Rolling Hills. I looked up quickly to see if there was a Pastor Bob Joyce in Memphis, Tennessee, that had a church named Rolling Hills, and I couldn't find that. But then, Michael, are you watching, Michael from London? I did a short video. I thought it was going to be labeled as short. It's only 48 seconds, but I guess YouTube decides what is short and what isn't, what is labeled as short, And they put it into the regular video file here. This will be in our live section. All our shows will, once we finish them, are available for replay in the live section. And if you missed the live stream, you can comment there. And we would certainly love you to do that. Thank you, Christopher. Interesting video. I'm going to be real honest with you. I know this is everybody's favorite topic, but I want to do less of this. I want to do less of this unless there's something important in the story breaking. I finally decided to share this funeral card that I got back in March of 2023. It was given to me by somebody that's been to Household of Faith, that's even gifted the pastor with a few other people, and he gave me this, and I just said, I don't know if this is real. I don't want to. I've never wanted. I know people don't believe this, but I never wanted to be the guy. I never wanted to be the guy, and we've proposed all kinds of possibilities, including that he is the love child son of Elvis. But there are a lot of coincidences that point to him being Elvis. And so when I got this card in the mail, I thought about it and thought about it. Now, what did my flesh say? My flesh said, this is probably your first viral video, maybe 500,000, maybe 1,000,000. You don't want to miss this opportunity. But I just felt strong conviction not to do it. And until I started seeing other people had it and mailing it to me, what I already had, I said, no, I'm going to hold back. Recently, we did a video where I referred to it, the Who Preached Lisa Marie's Private Funeral, which is 67,000 views plus now. But I still didn't show the card to this video now. So check that out if you haven't already. Share it, subscribe, and like if you're new. If you like it, give it a check, and I would appreciate that very much. How are you, Stefan? Everything okay with you? And you too, I hope, Cheryl. These are the night owls that are here. I'm just staying on for a few minutes, but I really appreciate you joining me at this odd hours for after hours ramblings. Oh man, so we'll see what's going to happen. I thought the Supreme Court only had to the 4th of January to make a decision on this. I hope that's true because we got primaries coming up, and more blue states are going to try this, and it's God's will be done. God's will be done. I would be just fine with Ron DeSantis. I would. I think he's a great man. Uh, Nikki, I'm not a fan of. Vivek is interesting to me, but I don't think he's ready for prime time. I didn't like the way he talked about Israel initially and then tried to backtrack. That kind of stuck with me. But the best we can hope for, as I say in the video I do from John Degnan Square. Anybody see that? Talking about the Palestinian students marching and now attacking the cops in New York City. That was a really weird experience. Karen was behind the cell phone camera for the first time, and I'm standing in front of the big downtown Christmas tree where the Friday night concerts in the summer, June, July, and August happen, and all the old people go to see the Motown group and Jimmy Sturr, the Polka King, et cetera, et cetera. And so she's doing that, and it's a short. It came in under a minute, and they labeled it that way as a short. And all of a sudden now I started getting interesting comments, and gained a whole new appreciation for the trolls because they were saying comments that I guess other people were responding to, like, well, a few of them said I should get a toupee, I should go back to my mother's basement. My mother is calling from the basement. She'd be 107 now, so that's really spooky. That's like Bates Motel stuff going on here, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I said, Karen, I was sitting in the recliner and we were watching probably Fox News as a conservative would do. And I said, it's got 700 views. Now, my biggest short was just over 400 downtown Bar Harbor. I haven't had any real success with shorts. And sometimes you do something and it's not labeled as short. But anyway, whatever YouTube decides to do is what they decide to do. And I said, Karen, it's 700. Karen, it's 800. Karen, it's 1.1K. Karen, it's 1.4K, 1.6K, 1.8K. And it got all the way up to 2,500, 2.5K. And then as fast as it started, it stopped. It just stopped. And one of the trolls few had said we should invest in a tripod. And I thought Karen's camera work was great. One of the trolls said, well, traffic is increased because of trolls like me. You're welcome. And I wrote back and said, I understand that. Thank you. I've been educated here in the power of trolls to get me more views, for that kind of thing. 11 people watching. Please let us know who you are and where you're watching from. Are you here in America? Are you in a whole other country, as Forrest Gump would say? Where the heck are you? 8 likes. Thank you very much for that. Please subscribe. Please like. We're well over 4,600 now. And yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. What else can we talk about? Anybody got anything on their mind? You're welcome, and disagreement is fine here. Sometimes what happens is it becomes like too much with one person and they're talking about politics. And my experience is that we have to do politics. That's where I came up with 3 minutes of politics, but then you got time to respond. Oh, I'm not saying 3 minutes for me and none for thee. I'm just saying that when it becomes too much, people seem to get turned off, I think. I'm willing to talk politics. for an hour or 2 hours, but that doesn't seem to be my audience. They want lighthearted stuff. They especially want Pastor Bob Joyce, and that's why here in the live stream, even if I haven't done an Elvis video in a while, and that's gonna happen, by the way, whatever happens, happens. The channel is incredible growth, 183% growth the last, time I checked. I didn't yeah, my math is so bad. I didn't think you could go over 100. I didn't thi I didn't really think it out. See, I thought, well, you can't go any higher than 100%. Well, I guess you can. I guess you can. Um, so, yeah, it's just come to a crawl here, but I still have 11 people watching. In fact, it's come to, uh, uh an end. It's come to an end. So we have the video about Elvis, and we show the funeral card for the first time. Who did Elvis preach Lisa Marie's private funeral? And then I do a 48-second video, which I thought would be short. And Mike Stein from London, England. Um, I wonder if you're watching right now, Michael. I know you'll watch this because you're so true and loyal. Let me answer your question live about the Christmas show, okay? Yeah, I took it down after 3 days. There wasn't a copyright strike on it. There was a copyright, how do they refer to it? A note, and this was based on the people who own "Angels We Have Heard on High." Now you listed it, and I'm sure you were working. You worked off a list. You didn't really do it. You just gave me a list of songs that were past copyright, that were public domain. But they claimed, and I happen to use the song more than once. I open with it, and then I play it from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, even though uh, the tracks said, "Oh, come all ye faithful," they go into "Angels We Have Heard on High." So YouTube sent me an email letting me know that this was not a copyright strike, but there was copyright, whatever they call it, uh, notice, and that the people who own the song may want analytics, and that I couldn't monetize that particular video, which was fine with me. I knew it wasn't going to become a massive hit, but what was going to happen, Mike, is it was going to probably stay about where it was, and I don't like anything left hanging like that, where they're going to be looking for analyzing it and what have you, and they're not going to have anything to see really. Um, but they're not going to make anything because it's not going to go to those kind of views. But I didn't like the fact that it was hanging out there, and since it wasn't going to grow very much anyway after Christmas, it felt right to me to take it down, Now I'll fight if I feel I'm right about something. I'll uh, I'll fight, and I'll go through the process with YouTube. I've done that before, and I've won before. I absolutely will. Um, but I mean, Christmas Ramblings, our live show from last week, not that successful. No magic words. I talk about those magic words. 12 people watching now. Where are you, new people? Where are you watching from tonight? Even, you know, make up a name, but tell us where you're watching from. So, without those magic words in there, I've got to include it in every live show. It seems for it to be successful, and but in terms of pre-recorded views, we talk about other things, and I really appreciate it when you watch those things. And I'm always open to topics for future pre-recorded videos as well. I don't know if I am too judgmental or critical. Well, we all can be, right? Of Gen Z, but it seems they lack a lot of skills. I grew up learning, or is it just me? No, it's absolutely not you. They are very misinformed. I mean, look when they go out for those interviews at the beach or in a busy city. You've seen Johnny, some of you, on the Jesse Waters primetime show. They can't answer the most simple question. They don't have an understanding about the whole Palestinian thing. Their parents told them to hate Jews from early on, and they bought into it. And then there's those that just support their cause because I don't know about you, but when I was young, I wanted to go out and march for something. So that's in all of us, and we're all, we don't know at 16 what we know now. Hopefully, we've grown and we are more understanding. My son told me not too long ago, he's on the road right now, but resting at this current time as I talk to you. He said it takes a while before you realize that, yeah, your parents are human too, and they will make mistakes, and you have to forgive and let that go because he realized that he had made mistakes in his life, and he's half my age, and so he feels now that it's wisdom for him to forgive me for many of the stupid things I did as a parent, and just in my marriages and what have you, including what led to the divorce with his mom, who's a wonderful woman. When you're a young man looking to sin and your wife is distracted with two kids, you say, well, I'll just quietly go about getting my needs met. And you never think there's going to be any repercussions, that you'll be found out, etc., etc. So, what can I tell you? Um, all it takes is one more generation to bring an end to democracy, and that's what's playing out. And as I say in the video from the Christmas tree downtown, um, we can slow the bleeding in November of 2024. But as I read the good book, I knew she'd show up. I knew she would. As I read the good book, it's not going to be great like it used to be. We're not going to be able to feel safe walking down the streets anymore in many of our cities. And when I see what's going on in New York City, I can't help but be sad that woke DAs would be allowed to destroy everything. And remember what I always tell you, it's the people that yell racist, racist, racist that are the real racist. I believe that with all my heart. Flies are infesting Maine, Shelley, in form of Generation Z. They took Trump off the ballot. First, it was some young punk named Sheena Bellows. She wanted to make a name for herself. She wasn't the Secretary of State, but she's something to do with the elections there in Maine. And just before midnight, the Secretary of State of Maine backed her up and took Trump off the ballot in the state of Maine. So that's Colorado and Maine now, and more blue states will follow. I guess maybe, Shell, I guess maybe. But most people in the know, including great people like Jonathan Turley and Alan Dershowitz, these are great legal minds, and there are more, feel that the Supreme Court will totally overturn this nonsense, this BS, and let the people decide, not some young punk. Maine is way too special to be led by people like Sheena Bellows, or I don't know who the Secretary of State is. I don't know, but it's a shame. It's a shame. Again, he was not even charged with insurrection. He said, march to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically. He didn't call for them to break into the Capitol. That was a mistake. They shouldn't have done it. What Republican would say, oh, I'm glad they did it? When it was like throwing red meat to rabid dogs that are soulless and have no love for America. And when I hear the people speaking every once in a while, when I'm going downstairs, the guy downstairs who, I've known since 1973 has MSNBC on, and they are just spouting the most lies, 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 and the hate and venom is coming out of them. They still want to say that a police officer was killed by a fire extinguisher at the Capitol, where he died at home later. of a heart attack, didn't have a good heart anyway. So they just whatever, they don't care, and nobody fact checks them because they're not about facts on MSNBC or CNN, which I call the Communist News Network. They're not about that. They're about an agenda, and their agenda is destroying America. Does she live up to her name and bellow? I haven't heard her talk. They just show her disgustingly smiling face as she's there with Biden, like she cares anything about him. I don't believe she does. I'd be surprised if she does. That's my opinion, though. It's my personal opinion. So, that's how that goes. That's how that goes. Man, it's already been 40 minutes and 20 seconds. Isn't that cool? So, Shelley, watch that new video we've been talking about. If you haven't already, it's growing fast. We show for the first time the funeral card from the Lisa Marie private funeral. Did Elvis preach Lisa Marie's private funeral? I know it's a similar title to one that I have up that's done real well and still growing, but there's some new stuff in this video. When will we be live for the weekend? I don't know. It's going to get cold here, and I think Karen may come up here, and to get her on camera is not going to be easy for that long of time. So I don't know. I'm going to pop on it sometime. Maybe I'll be able to promo it, but I can't say for sure. I can't say for sure. Maybe I'll come on live New Year's Day too. You never know. Try to give you some notice on that. But hey, 2024 is going to be here soon. Keep those in prayer, like Deborah Lake and Paul McCreary. I'll be going on this new medication. It's been approved for trial, 30-day free trial of mavacamten for cardiomyopathy patients. Just praying for no side effects on this. And within the next 5 days, I should be on that. So here we go. Got to follow the lead sometimes and trust your doctor, because Dr. Naidu down there at Westchester Medical Center is one of the best. He's one of the best. New Year's Eve broadcasts, probably not. That'll be, time that I'm with Karen, but I don't want to watch Anderson Cooper anymore. I used to love that, even when it was Gifford, whatever her name is, not Kathy Gifford, but the other one, Kathy, the one who's basically lost her mind now and got fired from CNN, and then it's the other gentleman whose name I can't recall at the moment. Used to like to watch that, but Anderson Cooper is just, to me, he's sold out his credibility. Now they they've become an arm of the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. And so why am I going to consider him? I used to love these people, including Tappy Phillips. I would call her my little glowworm girl. To Karen, she knows, I'm just kidding, but very attractive, pretty Afro-American woman. And now she's got her own show in the nighttime, and she's just, what you learn in first year of journalism, first week of journalism class, journalism college, they just totally disregard, and they're on a mission to do away with the Constitution, in my opinion, and everything that is good about America. So no. Can't have that. 13 watching right now, and the replay crowd too. You can watch the full broadcast in our live section of our channel here at the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned. Stay warm up there, Shelley. It's coming this way, like 25 degrees. Right now, it's 44. It's been kind of warm the last few days. He knows how Jay comes in and goes out so fast. He always does that. That's all right, unless he's here but silent. It's cold here in Oklahoma, so that's where you are. Okay. Oklahoma. I've only driven through in a Greyhound bus, and that was many years ago. It looked very pretty though, kind of flatland, wasn't it? I know, New Mexico was. It's warm out now, so you're getting the same thing we are, but we know it's gonna change. It's gonna change, and, raccoons looking for food. They are here, but they always find it when they come here. They come here, 1 or 2 of them, and one of them is so fat. Um, they come here every night. About 6 o'clock, they're there. Karen has it ready for them, and one, saw her because she opens up the door, and there's a glass door, of course, and the raccoon looks at her and comes right up and peers directly into her eyes, like, "Let me in. Let me in." Oh, boy. The deer are out, and they're always in our backyard. Hasn't been as many lately, but we have apples and what have you we give them, and you can get the deer, food down at the tractor, place. I always wanna say tractor pull because that's what they have at the fairgrounds, the tractor pull. But you can get, deer food and, sweet feed, that kinda thing. Yes, and, we have a feral cat named Buddy who doesn't wanna come inside. We say, "Come on in." Buddy doesn't wanna come inside. We have an igloo, dog house that's under the back porch, so it's sheltered, somewhat, and there's a blanket in there, and there's lots of hay, and Buddy goes in there, but not in the late night. I think he goes to the barn that you see in some of the videos. You'll see past the woods a gray barn, and I think that's where the deer go, and I think they can get in there, and all the animals. It's their house for the winter, especially. So yeah, I like your icon of a deer, Christopher. So that's pretty much all I had. Um, Gotta make my bed. Did laundry, and last night I was too lazy. I just put on like 4 blankets, and I got my pillow topper. Um, I understand that my pillow is, even though they've sold a ton of product, there's been so many lawsuits that over the Dominion voting machines and stuff that Mike Lindell may be in financial trouble. It's just crazy. Very successful company, but those lawsuits start to add up, and that's what they try to do on the left. They try to bankrupt you. I got nothing to take, so I guess I'm fairly safe in that area. Well, we'll talk to you real soon, okay? My name is Jack Willard. I appreciate you. Big God bless you. Sweet dreams.